going to be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, June 10th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I'm not sure how many of you have had a chance to check out the new season of Stranger Things, because I've heard that the new monsters in these episodes are a lot scarier than some of the stuff they've rolled out in the past. But here's the thing. If you had a choice of going head-to-head with a Demogorgon or having to stare down Iain Valliere on stage at the Vancouver Pro, don't you think it might be just a little less scary to go with option number one? Even though he's still in the early stages of his prep, I think it's probably safe to say that this is the biggest and leanest version of Iain that we've seen so far. When he's at his best with that old school throwback super grainy conditioning, the man is an absolute force to be reckoned with. So if you're one of the unlucky few in this lineup who are going to have to take this head on in a few weeks, you might want to see if you can conjure up some of those 11-level powers, because you're going to need all the help you can get. For the most part, we haven't seen too many standout performances in the open from any of the rookies in this year's class yet. But notice how I said yet, because that's the key word here, especially if you're a believer in Andrew Jack living up to the hype. Recently, there was a rumor floating around that this year's winner of the Arnold Amateur Overall was planning to make his pro debut at some point within the next few weeks, with the two potential targets being the Texas and Tampa Pro shows. Historically, Tampa has tended to have a deeper lineup than we've seen in Texas, so it might make more sense for him to target the Lone Star State if he's planning to make a move sometime soon, or if he's just looking to get his feet wet before jumping into another event at some point before the end of the season. If you follow the amateur scene, then you're already well aware of the fact that Andrew's been draped with high praise from some of the names in this industry that hold a lot of weight. So if he is as good as advertised, then you're going to want to keep an eye on what he does over the next few weeks, because he could end up being a true dark horse depending on where he ultimately decides to land. Sometimes the term sweat equity gets thrown around a little too loosely in this industry, which almost makes it feel watered down at times. But every once in a while you see a video like this where you catch a former Olympia champ like Shaun Clarida putting in the kind of work that it takes to succeed at the highest level. And then all of a sudden you remember what this whole sweat equity thing is really all about. For all intents and purposes, Shaun is the embodiment of what people are talking about when they say you have to put in the work, because that's who he is, and it's what he's done throughout his entire career. As long as I can remember, he's never not come in at 100%, which is kind of crazy when you think about how long he's actually been doing this. Championship is pumping through this guy's DNA, and depending on what happens in this division over the next few months, there's a very good chance that he heads into the Olympia weekend as the odds-on favorite. And if the throne is up for grabs, he's the type to do whatever it takes to bring home the win. If you're a fan of boxing or MMA, then you already know that whenever they're about to announce the results of a decision, and you hear the words, "and now," it's one of the most exciting moments in all of sports. And if you're a men's physique fan, or better yet, if you're an Erin Banks fan, then you're hoping that you hear those words during Olympia weekend, because it'll definitely inject a lot of excitement into this division. During an interview on a recent podcast, Erin went as far as to say that he promised that he's going to win the Olympia this year, which is a bold statement considering that we've seen Brandon Hendrickson and what he's done lately. Which is a bold statement considering what we've seen from Brandon Hendrickson lately, who just so happens to be a two-time defending champ. But with that being said, there isn't a single athlete in the division who's hotter than Erin Banks right now. And if you believe that he's going to keep riding this wave, then I guess it's only a matter of time before he makes good on his prediction. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.